Lesson number 1 for Monday, June 26. A riot in the amphitheater. What lessons can we draw from the story found in Acts 19:21 to 21 about the riot, in which Paul was preaching about the gods that were false gods, however people were making money of them? Verse 23 says, "At the same time there arose no small stir about that way. For a certain man named Demetrius, a silversmith, which made silver shrines for Diana, brought no small gain to the craftsmen, whom he called together with the workmen of like occupation and said, Sirs, you know that by this craft we have our wealth. Moreover, you see and hear that not alone at Ephesus, but also throughout all Asia, this Paul has persuaded and turned away many people, saying that there be no gods which are made with hands." So, that not only is our craft in danger to be set at nothing, but also that the temple of the great goddess Diana should be despised and her magnificence should be destroyed, whom all Asia and other worlds worships. And then the big riot occurred in the amphitheater, but Paul was spared. Paul's witness in the large, sophisticated city of Ephesus was so effective that it impacted an important economic engine for the city. Tourism focused on the temple of Artemis. And what a temple it was. This magnificent structure was composed partly of 127 pillars, each 60 feet high. A Parian marble, a pure white, flawless marble highly prized for sculptures. 36 of these pillars were sculpted and overlaid with gold, earning the temple its reputation as one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Concerned that Paul's anti-idolatry rhetoric was draining financial support from the temple, Acts 19:27, Demetrius the silversmith whipped his fellow craftsmen into a frenzy. A rapidly expanding and highly energized crowd swept from the marketplace into the large amphitheater, which seated some 25,000 people. There the commotion continued, featuring 2 continuous hours of shouting, "Great is Artemis of the Ephesians," Acts 19:34. After the crowd is dispersed by the town clerk, Paul meets with the believers and leaves the city. So a tentative chronology of Paul's relationship to Ephesus is as follows. Number 1, AD 52 was Paul's initial brief visit to Ephesus, Acts 18:18 to 21. Number 2, AD 53 to 56, Paul's 3-year ministry in Ephesus, Acts 19:1 and 20, verse 1. In that time, he composes 1 Corinthians near the end of his stay there. See 1 Corinthians 16:5 and 9. Number 3, AD 57, while at Miletus, Paul meets with the elders from Ephesus. And number 4, AD 62, Paul composes his letter to the Ephesians, probably from confinement in Rome. Acts 20:31 says, "Therefore watch and remember that for 3 years I did not cease to warn everyone night and day with tears," said Paul. What do you think Paul would warn our church about today, and why? From the Acts of the Apostles, page 295, it says, "In this speech Demetrius had said, 'This is our craft is in danger.' These words revealed the real cause of the tumult at Ephesus, and also the cause of much of the persecution which followed the apostles in their work. Demetrius and his fellow craftsmen saw that by the teaching and spread of the gospel, the business of image-making was endangered. The income of pagan priests and artisans was at stake, and for this reason they aroused against Paul the most bitter opposition. However, the decision of the recorder and of others holding honorable offices in the city has set Paul before the people as one innocent of any unlawful act. This was another triumph of Christianity over error and superstition. God had raised up a great magistrate to vindicate his apostle and hold the tumultuous mob in check. Paul's heart was filled with gratitude to God that his life had been preserved and that Christianity had not been brought into disrepute by the tumult at Ephesus. And from the book Maranatha, page 60, it says, Satan is constantly at work, but few have any idea of his activity and subtlety. The people of God must be prepared to withstand the wily foe. It is this resistance that Satan dreads. He knows better than we do the limit of his power and how easily he can be overcome if we resist and face him. Through divine strength, the weakest saint is more than a match for him and all his angels, and if brought to the test, he would be able to prove his superior power. Therefore, Satan's step is noiseless, his movements stealthy, and his batteries masked. He does not venture to show himself openly, lest he arouse the Christian's dormant energies and send him to God in prayer. We need to captivate the reality in our minds of how much power is available to us from God, to the point where Satan himself will flee because he knows that divine power in human entities can and will overcome him. Keep in mind, we do not have to be slaves to any satanic enslaving and endangering weakness and or habitual sinning, because we can break loose with divine power. Think about this. Have a blessed day.